UFC London just got deeper, darker. It makes me want to settle strays. It's not adding up like a meter marker. The bout order, just get him changed. I have no idea what the UFC's matchmaking like this. It put me in a range. I guess Dana White is Peter Parker because he violated my guy, Venom Page. Yeah, baby, yeah. Why, brother? Why? Why must you violate Venom Page with these Like, what is that matchup, brother? But listen, looking at UFC London, I never really expect London cards, no offense, to be like great cards because I just don't see much great London or UK people in the UFC. Like, dude, but Leon Edwards, Kenny. Now, there's some all right London people, and I feel like the bout order is them trying to push some more London superstars. We're going to talk about all that in this video, but the biggest thing that I'm most excited for, of course, is what we think. I'm going to say what we think because I don't know for sure yet, but it should be, politically speaking, Murphy versus Lerone should be the number one contender spot. I'm going to say it should be, but I have a gut feeling the winner's not going to get Volk. I know it sounds crazy to say because it doesn't make sense. The number one guy fighting the number four guy should be number one for the number one spot, but I really think it's going to be based on performance. And both of these guys have been in decision, but I feel like the UFC would think of something. Like if Murphy or Lerone go the distance or something, which is possible, honestly. I just have a feeling that if another featherweight fights in a featherweight, like Gene Silva fight, like it's going to just say like, oh, you know what, Gene Silva versus Volk. But let's hope that this is legitimately for the number one contenders fight. As far as Murphy versus Lerone goes, I think this is a great matchup for Murphy Evloev. Murphy Evloev is the only one in this division who's went into every fight and won convincingly. People try to make it seem like Arnold Allen was competitive with him. No, like his best shots rewatching that fight were illegal knees. Murphy kind of schooled him pretty soundly. It was competitive in a sense that like he wasn't a walkover, but Murphy did his work. Diego Lopez more of the same, just almost caught Murphy with some submissions and stuff. Nothing crazy. Murphy kind of just walks through his opponent. Him versus Aljo was a pretty competitive fight. Grappler versus grappler. Lerone Murphy in his last fight, guys, I know I picked him to beat Aaron Pico. I don't know why Aaron Pico was being overhyped, first of all. But low-key, looking back at that fight, Aaron Pico panicked the hell out of Lerone. He looked so uneasy. Like, Lerone never really got his feet set. Lerone just threw the spinning elbow and won. I like that. I know some people were like blown away by that. That fight didn't impress me. Like, I didn't watch it. I was like, you know what, dude? Lerone, dude, like, fuck yeah, man. I wasn't like this shit, dude. I wasn't in my cowabunga bag watching that. That was a cowabunga finish, though. It was kind of like a fuck it, dude. My mom said I had to go to my room if I lose, dude. Spinning elbow, dude. It was one of those ones, Shiba, brother. It's not. I wasn't impressed. As far as how Murphy and Lerone match up stylistically, I think Murphy is a better striker, and I think Murphy is a better wrestler. Oh, no. Here comes the jazz hands. What'd you say, Kenny? Better striker? Chat, I think so, I think Murphy, objectively speaking, is a better striker than Lerone Murphy, especially with that takedown threat. I don't see Lerone doing anything to Murphy over the course of a 5-round fight. This is Murphy's time to shine. It's not easy. The way Murphy fights is interesting because he doesn't necessarily have like crazy knockout power. He has some good ground and pound. Submission games are right, but it comes down to like Lerone is good enough to survive situations. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's just a masterclass from Murphy or Lerone kind of gets broken. Maybe Lerone gets broken over the course of 5 rounds. When he's been 5 with like M and stuff, it was kind of him just picking his shots, running and like only having to deal with striking. I just don't think Lerone's going to have the gas tank to be able to wrestle with Murphy for 5 rounds straight. I remember thinking to myself, Murphy fatigues, and then I watch back his fights. He never really looked slow to me ever. Like he never really slowed down. He's pretty good. And I feel like his striking is deceptively good. I feel like people don't appreciate Murphy striking enough. And I feel like it's going to show in a fight like this over the course of 5 rounds. Because I think Lerone's going to kind of get done like Leon Edwards got done against Bilal, and how Leon got done against some of these other guys who might be primary wrestlers. I think it's going to kind of be Murphy imposing his will in the grappling, as well as using his striking to solidify his grappling pretty much as well. I don't see a path to victory for Lerone Murphy. He's long overdue for a title shot. I'll say that much. He's been number one contender for months now. He's just essentially the featherweight Armin, not getting the rightful shot. And I would love to say this guarantees him versus Volk, but it's not true. Like it won't. I really think the UFC is going to try to push Gene Silva versus Volk. In the meantime, It sounds crazy to say, I know, but I just don't trust the UFC in giving rightful matchups where the divisional rankings actually matter. Like, I haven't seen the UFC actually make matchups where the divisional rankings matter in a year. Get it? Because 2026 just started. See, bad joke, but like, jokes aside, I just don't know if Mavsar's gonna earn it with this one. Hopefully, he goes in there and finishes Lerone, which is a possibility. But like I said, it's like Lerone knows how to survive, and he hasn't experienced a loss yet, which is both guys haven't experienced a loss. Wait, hold up. This we gotta fact check this, because this is one of the few times there are two undefeated fighters fighting for a number one contender fight. That rarely happens, you know, because usually by this point one of the people lost once or twice. But Mavsar and Lerone, I believe, are both undefeated fighters. I think Lerone has like a draw on his record or something, but this is actually a very high stakes fight, you know, for both of these guys. You know, records on the line. You know, hopefully number one contender spot on the line. It should be a one-sided fight, but it should be interesting as far as just like how Lerone will show up against a against an offensive wrestler who can strike. It should be interesting. I just don't see a path to victory for Lerone, so I'd be a madman to say Lerone has a chance. So as far as that fight goes, I think Mavsar beats on him Dr. Dre for my early pick. Now, Luke Riley, he is an undefeated fighter out of London, and I feel like that's why they're trying to push him as a co-main event. Because what do you mean Mike as well as a co-main event? Fuck, bro, what? Michael as well, you know. I know Michael as well. I've seen him and that well as well. Shibai. Makes no sense, guys. He's over Michael Venom Page. We're going to talk about Venom Page matchup in a little bit, but I see them trying to push Luke Riley. I get it. Like I just said at the start of the video, London doesn't really have much superstars, you know. UFC London usually is an event they go through almost every year, you know. So I think they're trying to make a London superstar out of Luke Riley. And can Luke Riley beat Michael as well? I think so as well, you know. I think it's a possibility. He probably should go in there and beat Michael as well. Michael as well, from what I saw from his footage, I have to watch back some of his footage, but like what I remember, he's all right, but nothing really sticks out from Michael. So this is just a building Luke Riley opportunity, but by building Luke Riley, they're disrespecting some other people on this card by putting Luke Riley as a co-main event. You know, just disgusting, man. This Shibai, brother, this bout order, brother. Who give this, brother? You know, all my life, I don't think I see bout order this bad. Like, this is really annoying to me. But let's see, whatever. Who gives a shit about this fight anyways? I don't really care about Luke Riley. I'm sure the people from London are like, dude, fuck, mate. I love watching Luke Riley with some crumpets, mate. I'm sorry. Just told me that. I don't really know how to use London accents, but yeah, whatever happens in this fight, like I'm not moved by it, you know, but I guess they're trying to build a superstar, so good for them. But that brings you to my next fight that I want to talk about, which the opening rap was brought to you by, you know, Michael Venom Page and Sam Patterson. Now, Sam Patterson, a tall, good striking, pretty good BJJ welterweight. Now, here's the thing about Michael Venom Page and what the UFC's been doing with him. First of all, they gave him an unranked fighter. The disrespect is disgusting. It's blatant. Michael Venom Page, guys, had a split decision, close-ass fight with Ian Gary. I don't even know if it was split decision, but it was a close-ass fight where the first round was won by Gary, second round by MVP. The third round was all MVP. The third round could have went either way, guys. The third round was literally MVP outstriking him, then controlling him for like the first 2.5 minutes. Then the second half of the round was controlled by Ian Gary, 2.5 minutes. Ian Gary landed 0 strikes, but he just had his back, and they say Ian Gary won the fight. That's the hardest fight Ian Gary's had outside of Shavkat Rakhmonov, you know, hands down. You know, so that was a close-ass fight with a very talented opponent, and Ian Gary's one of the best. I don't care what people say. Dude, Gary sucks, dude. No, he doesn't. Ian Gary's one of the best, man, and MVP nearly beat him. In my head, I think MVP low-key won that fight. It was just very close, you know. Ian Gary didn't do anything with that control time in the third round. And on the feet, it was so one-sided. You know, then from there, he went and exposed Shower Bullet at middleweight, you know, beat an undefeated prospect. After that, they gave him Jaron Cannonier, a strong, you know, striker who could also wrestle a little bit and take people down. MVP schooled him, you know, and now he goes back to welterweight and gets Sam Patterson, an unranked fighter. So you had a ranked opponent in Jaron Cannonier, you know, a ranked opponent in Ian Gary, who's one of the best right now, you know, and then you had that Shower Bullet fraud check, but now you're getting an unranked opponent at welterweight. This is what the UFC is doing. I always say it all the time. The UFC saw what he did to Shower Bullet. They saw what he did to Ian Gary. They can't risk putting Michael Venom Page against Carlos Prates. They can't risk putting Michael Venom Page against Michael Morales or Jack Della Maddalena or any of these other top guys. Even though MVP deserves fights like that because we've seen his track record, you know, they can't give it to him because it's risking the UFC getting their superstar or their rising prospects. Not even prospects. These guys are all like high in the ranks. They're not even prospects anymore. But these rising potential superstars getting fraud checked by a 38-year-old guy in a karate stance. They can't risk that. So what they're doing is like they're trying to throw him Sam Patterson, hoping Sam Patterson's going to be the guy to beat him. Sam Patterson's going to get his head punched off for 15 minutes straight. Emoted on, probably knocked out if he gets overzealous, you know. Sam Patterson's also a 6'3" striker who keeps his chin really high in the air. Like, oh my God. This is just like a disrespectful matchup for Venom Page, as well as like I want to say easy on paper matchup for Venom Page. You know, it's kind of frustrating seeing stuff like this because you want to see someone like Venom Page get an opportunity to fight for the belt while he's still here. And I'm not saying he's going to win against the belt. He'll beat a lot of people. I'm telling you, bro, put him against Jack Della Maddalena, see what happens. Put him against Carlos Prates, Michael Morales, see what happens. And these guys that I'm talking about are the same people. Oh, they're going to be Islam. Oh my God, Morales is going to be Islam. MVP would kill them, and he's 38 years old. There's a reason the UFC's protecting them. I'm telling you, MVP. It's funny because after MVP beats Sam Patterson, the UFC's gonna like, oh, he just beat Sam Patterson. Why would he give him a protest? Bro, he nearly beat Gary. He schooled Shara and he schooled Cannonier. These are ranked opponents. These are high-level opponents. You know, then you're gonna give him an unranked Sam Patterson. What does this win do for Michael Venom Page? Can anyone tell me? Well, Kenny, to my calculations, it does carry the two at the parallelogram. Bro, does nothing for him. Literally nothing. And then Sam Patterson has a chance to beat someone like... You're not going to beat him, but he has a chance to beat someone like Venom Page and be like, oh, I beat someone who fraud-checked all these guys and nearly beat Ian Gary. Ian Gary, I want you next. You know, I did what you couldn't do in better fashion or whatever. I don't know. If Patterson wins, I don't know how he'll win, but I don't know the odds for this. I might throw my whole account only on Venom Page and Mobzar as a duel. Like, oh, I'm going to make bread on this card, eh? But... You know, I actually don't know what the odds are because people always underestimate Venom Page because he's 38, but they don't see the fight for what it is. I know Patterson has some BJJ. Michael Venom Page defensive grappling improvement against Cannonier very much caught me off guard. If you guys remember, I actually picked Cannonier to beat him because I thought Cannonier was gonna take him down after I see what Ian Gary did. I'm like, Cannonier's a little bit stronger. He's a big, brawlicky dude. He's fought at heavyweight before. I don't know if MVP's gonna deal with the size, but no, his defensive wrestling was on point. The only time he got taken down was round 3 where he made a mistake, tripped over himself, and Cannonier responded to that. But every single takedown attempt, he had that covered. Patterson's a primary striker who knows how to grapple, but he won't have that chance against Venom Page because Venom Page would just make him look like a goofball. Venom Page masterclass or KO, easiest fighter to predict of all time. Below that, we got Iwo. I don't even know how to say his last name, so I'm not going to try. Versus Austin Lane. Iwo's been looking good. I'm assuming he's going to go in there and chin Austin Lane. Don't care too much about that fight. We also got the Lindsay and CLD. CLD is going to nearly kill the Lindsay in there. That's going to be kind of funny to watch. CLD's a unit. He's been getting better. His striking's looking good. His hands looking heavier. The Lindsay's just a quitter. Like he's in his Anthony Smith era. He's just ready to quit. I see CLD finishing him and running through him pretty comfortably. Then Curtis Campbell versus Danny Silva. Don't care enough about this fight as well, but I'm assuming Curtis Campbell should get it done in front of the home crowd. Got to do more research on that fight. And then, of course, there's the early prelims as well on this card, which I'm not going to go over in this video, but I do see some good names that I recognize, like Mason Jones. That's a good one. We got Tricoli in there, too. We got the African Kieta. I swear, he was supposed... Oh, this is a good fight. Nathaniel Wood versus Kieta. Kieta was supposed to fight, and then, something happened. I forgot what happened. I think he got sick or something, or missed weight or something. But yeah, Kieta should be interesting. I don't think he's actually fought in the UFC yet. I could be completely wrong, but I don't think he has. You know, I see Shamrock here make part in. Okay, hold on. Jump. Wait, this card, you know, okay, brother, the card's not too bad. You know, outside of the horrible placement of MVP, this card's not bad. Actually, some of these people on the main card shouldn't even be over these people in the prelims. Like Nathaniel Wood and Kieta should be over Curtis Campbell and Danny Silva, you know. I don't even know why Austin Lane's on that either. Like, come on, dude. Even see Louis Sutherland here. Yeah, this is a pretty decent card, man. It's a pretty decent card. Hey, man. Honestly, early thoughts on this card. It's actually a pretty good card. Just the placement of MVP is kind of off-putting. And I hope that the number one contender is the winner of whoever wins this. I hope they're next for the belt. But like I said, you never know with the UFC. So it's just one of those things you got to stay tuned. But let me know what you guys think about UFC London. That's it for me. God bless. 2, 3, 4.